Morning, I'm Mark Reichon, your Senior Wellness Director here at the Mount Desert YMCA, and I would like to welcome you to lesson number 4 on our Tai Chi for Beginners on-demand class. We've been working on the Yang 8. We've gotten through several moves, and we're kind of coming into that spot where we're rounding the back corner and heading down the straightaway to head towards the finish. So, but before we get started, let's play with a couple of moves. Let's just do a quick little warm-up. We're going to interlace our fingers and our hands and just circle them. Trying to get a little bit of fluid moving in there, just warming up the joints a bit. Arms out like the scarecrow, and one arm blows and the other arm blows, and before you know it, they're both blowing in the wind. Back and forth and back. Good. Now, there's a concept in Tai Chi where we root ourselves in our lower body. Our lower body becomes heavy, sinks right in the ground. Our upper body becomes light, rising up. And all this in the middle is flexible. So we want to be able to separate our upper body from our lower body. Okay, so we're just going to do this little twisting back and forth, not very much. What we don't want to do is swing way over here, getting our hips all involved. It looks fancier, but defeats our purpose. We're warming up the midsection just a little bit. Good. Now let's do another old favorite. Let's do a little bit of hula hoop. One way, then the other. Gentle circles, just trying to warm up the knees. There's a gentle flexing as we rise and fall, and a little movement, moving that fluid around in the joints. Now, this is an interesting one. We're just going to let our knees come out and around in a circle. Also activating our ankles just a little bit. Can you feel it? In reverse. Nice. Now we're going to take one foot, ball of the foot in the floor, and circle our ankles round and around as if we're rubbing out a piece of cinder from a campfire that got on the ground. We don't want to have that catch in the forest. Good. Now we're going to go back to the waist. The waist is pretty important in all of this, so we're just going to turn and let our arms just dangle. Trying to feel that it's the waist and not the shoulders coming around, not the hips coming around, just turn at the waist. Good. And then let's finish it off. Let's just do little neck circles, little head circles. Now, if you feel at all dizzy, don't do this. If you have vertigo, this is not advised. Now, deep breath. All right, we're going to introduce some moves that, one move in particular, that really uses this waist turning. Now we know from earlier in our lesson that one of the moves is this one. Or if I'm mirror imaging, it'd be here. Repulse monkey. Turning at the waist. We can just make a little bit of a drill out of that, just warming up the waist, warming up the shoulders. When we do the one we learned last week, parting the wild horse's mane, here's a little turn of the waist. A little turn of the waist. We can just stand here, trying to keep our hips straight forward. Do you remember the first move? Brush, knee, and push. And the turn, the waist we have to get for that one. The turn floats the hand all by itself over the knee. And while that's happening, this is folding and pushing out, all from the waist. Now let's add another little fun waist exercise. We're going to turn one way or the other and take the hand that's towards the screen and let it rise up. And just look into that palm as you turn your waist back. And let your other hand rise up to take its place. And the one that just traveled scoops down and around as we turn our hands back. Turn our waist back. Both palms will rotate slightly just before they change places. We can even put a little bit of a weight shift going on here. This is a wonderful move. It can be done for health just in and of itself, like a qigong movement. Called wave hands like clouds. Good. Which brings me to our move for the day. Wave hands like clouds. Now this one is interesting because there's some stepping and there's some shifting of weight, and we have a small space in which to do this. So doing a mirror image, let's go back to the beginning and we'll carry on from there. Good. Did you remember the sequence? So from our last parting the horse's wild mane, we shift our weight back and we begin to spin on this heel because we want to turn towards the front. And as we do, this bottom hand rises up. We shift that foot for just a moment. This other hand comes down and we step in with that trailing foot. Change hands, rotate. Now from here, we step out. Change hands and rotate. As we shifting our weight, we're rotating right here in the center. Our hands are weighted, our feet are equally weighted. And then we continue shifting the weight till we get here and change hands. Now ordinarily that's where a step would take place. We change hands and we shift our weight back. No step. here's the step. After we've shifted our weight, we can pick that foot up and bring it back in. Centered. Stepping out. Centered. Now we're going to come back in. That's our pattern. We step in from there. And then we come to the center and on to the next move, which we'll get to in the next lesson. Now, let's do that again. Let's just pick it up from parting the wild horse's mane. Be aware of how your weight shifts, how you spin your whole body here as you start it from turning at the waist. Hands are rising. This one's coming over. We step in as the hands change, or just before the hands change. Step out. Shift weight. Do we shift our weight too soon, or are we here in the center? Stepping back in. Now we do the same pattern to the other side. We step out. Shift weight and come back to the center. All right, let's try it with my back to you so it's a little easier to follow along. We'll do wave hands like clouds. We'll do that 2 times, okay? Then we're going to do the whole routine up to that point. We'll do that 2 times. A mirror image version and a rear view version. So, okay, let me just get myself oriented. Boom, 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 boom. So we start from our wild horse's mane. Shift our weight, turn to the front, hand comes up, that foot adjusts, we step in. We step out. We shift. We step in and out. Good. So, just as an aside, the person I waved at as you were going by is a world champion snowshoe racer, and she's recently done some videos with some snowshoeing tips for those of us who are here around the Mount Desert Island YMCA. So look for her on our virtual Y. Her name's Jen. All right, let's go from the beginning, all the way through cloud hands. We subtly shift our weight so that one foot becomes empty. We step out. Remember, I'm doing mirror image. Arms gently rise. Elbows sink, which pulls the hands down, and we sink as we press down. Turning at the waist. Repulse monkey. Brush knee, push. Brush knee, push. Parting the wild horse's mane. Turning to front. Stepping in. stepping out, shifting weight, stepping in, stepping out, shifting weight, coming to center. Now, one time with reverse view. So now you can move with me. If I go that way, that's the way you're supposed to go. Thank you. This was lesson number 4 in the Young 8, Mount Desert Island YMCA's Tai Chi for Beginners. We have just a few more lessons, so you are doing quite nicely. Remember, we also put the front view and the back view of the entire form on our website and on our YouTube page. It's part of the series, so you can go to that and practice all the way through from start to finish. I'm Mark Reichon. I hope you enjoyed this. More to follow.